Fire and wind come from the sky, from the gods of the sky. But Crum is your god. Crum, and he lives in the earth. Once giants lived in the earth, Conan. And in the darkness of chaos, they fooled Crum. And they took from him the enigma of steel. Crum was angered, and the earth shook. And fire and wind struck down these giants, and they threw their bodies into the waters. But in their rage, the gods forgot the secret of steel and left it on the battlefield. And we who found it are just men. Not gods, not giants, just men. And the secret of steel has always carried with it a mystery. You must learn its riddle, Conan. You must learn its discipline. For no one in this world can you trust. Not men, not women, not beasts. This you can trust.
Between the time when the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Arius, there was an age undreamed of. And unto this, Conan, destined to bear the jeweled crown of Aquilonia upon a troubled brow. It is I, his chronicler, who alone can tell thee of his saga. Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
In like Fog City Mavericks, or it was like a doc when they're like talking about how he was gonna first do, how they were gonna first, he and Lucas were gonna shoot Apocalypse Now, and
That
he's
might
like,
be in Hearts of Darkness that he's talking about.
we're gonna get to Vietnam, shoot it just before Tet.
We would have gotten there just before Tet. You're like, what? Or just in time for it.
Yeah, he's always he wants, and he is kind of almost laughing when he says that. So I mean, to your story,
like for me, like, and when you you listen to Spielberg talk about him and stuff like that, like he always says he was kind of a ham.
Yeah, I think so too.
He was always goofing around. So
I think 90% of it is him having a good time with the subject and the subject matter. And I think that's also why I just absolutely love the guy. Of all the personalities at Warner Brothers I mixed in, and Eastwood was there too. Joel Cox, his editor, was great. All those guys were really generous with their time. But, you walk away from Milius going, that guy wants to make sure you remember him in all the right ways.
Yeah.
Like he extends this Milius kind of aura to you to kind of be like, and take that one back to your friends. You know what I mean?
It's a performance, right?
Yeah.
He has a persona that he's mastered and is like putting out there.
Yeah. Such gold. I mean, the funny thing about it is I was fired from the courier department for a time clock infraction, and largely because I was trying to work my way in with him.
Oh, wow.
And I remember like the dispatcher calling me on the radio the day I had to get Triple H for the Conan meeting. I go into Milius's office and just say, hey, do you need anything? That was my MO. I would walk by all the producers and just knock on their door and say, do you need anything? Even though I don't technically work for them. I just wanted them to get to know my face. So I'd be like, hey, do you need anything? And John Milius goes, yeah, Triple H is down by the hot dog stand. He can't find us. Go get him on your golf cart and bring him up here. We've got to talk to him about Conan the Barbarian. And I'm like, right. Now I'm on the clock. So I go down and I see Triple H and his agent at the hot dog stand, which we probably all know at Warner Brothers. And I'm like, hey, I'm from John's office. Get on the golf cart. I'll take you up. I take him up, take him back to the office, and I'm getting ready to report back to the courier department where I belong. But Milius says, Ethan, why don't you stick around for this? And so in my head, I'm like, oh, shit. But I'm also thinking, like, this might be my break. I should stick around. He's telling me to stick around, right? What do you guys do in this situation? Ian, what do you do?
I stick around.
You stick around. So I'm like thinking, like, all right. And I turn down my radio, my walkie-talkie, and I hear them saying, like, Ethan, where are you? And I'm like, click. So I sit in the meeting, and it goes on for about an hour and a half, and I'm dying in it.
Yes.
And I drive back to the courier department going, I'm going to get fired. And I walk in, and the dispatcher goes, it's like Hill Street Blues. It's like a taxi setup in there, you know, like the Louis De Palma cage kind of deal. And then he like sticks his hand out the windows. Where the fuck have you been? And I'm like, dude, you're never going to believe it. I went by Milius' office to see if he needed anything. He sent me to go get Triple H, the wrestler, get him back to his office for a meeting about Conan the Barbarian. And he told me to stay for the meeting. And he's like, you're so full of shit. You are so full. If that actually happened, take me up there right now. I want to hear it from Milius. And he doesn't know Milius. I want you to introduce me to him. Let's see if you even know him. And then I want to hear it from Milius. And I'm like, all right, come on. And he gets on the golf cart with me. And the whole way we're driving back to Building 81, he's like, you are so fucking fired. This is going to be the most enjoyable moment of my life. This day is going to live in infamy at the courier department. You are so fucking fired. You have abused your privileges for the last time. You are a dumb son of a bitch. And we even as we park and we're walking down the hallway to Milius' office, he's still riding me. He's like, this is great. He's like, you want to stand outside the door for a little bit before you're fired? Or do you want to just go in and let me fire you? So I knock on the door, and Leonard, the assistant, his buddy from Hawaii, who's in Conan the Barbarian, by the way, goes, Ethan, what are you doing back here? And I'm like, this is my boss. He kind of wanted to verify that we just had this Triple H Conan the Barbarian. He wants to talk to John. And he's like, yeah, he's in there. Go ahead. So I go in there, and John has a newspaper out and does like the thing where like it comes down just below the eyes. You know, like,
yeah.
And so I come in with John, and now, and my boss, the dispatcher's kind of got quiet. His name is John Lawrence, though. His name, and I want to say his name for a reason coming up. And I go, John, this is my boss down at the courier department, John. And John Milius immediately puts the paper down and gets up. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And he gets it right away. He can, I guess, read our body language. He goes, by the way, we really like this kid here. We really like him. He's helped us out quite a bit. He's one of our favorite people around here. And the dispatcher, John Lawrence, goes, well, sir, anytime you need him, just let me know and I'll send him right up. Now, that's funny because we walk out of the office, and props to John understanding right away what was happening there. We walk right out of the office, and when the office door closes, the reason I mentioned this guy's name is he's a rarity in our business because he immediately goes, you son of a bitch, you were telling the truth. He's like, you're going to make something of yourself. He's like, you got to do whatever they ask you. I'll cover for you. Whatever they ask you, I'll lie. He's like, you're going to make it. You know, he, and totally was not fired for that. Yeah. It was like one of those endearing moments where I thought, oh shit. Cause you know, most people, they get embarrassed and they're going to make that, they're going to hammer it home. But I just remember he was so generous, and he goes, whatever, if he calls you, just let me know. We'll work out a code and you can do whatever you need to do. And ultimately I did start working up there, but it was kind of one of those funny moments where he's like, you're fired. You are so fired.
Your road to redemption is paved with tombstones. No quarter, kill all masters. Go to noquarterkillallmasters.com. Rated R.